All right, we are live. We are underway here. Welcome everybody to Media Day for Atlantic Hockey America for the 2024-25 season. Season is right around the corner, so we're excited to get started here. This is my first season with Atlantic Hockey America. My name is Connor Grotenhuis. I'm the Director of Communications here. And we're going to have a little intro here with Commissioner Morgan and myself. And then after that, we will open it up for each school to kind of talk about their program and what they're looking forward to leading up to this season. So Michelle, do you want to go ahead and kind of get things rolling here?
Perfect. Thanks, Connor. It's good to be here and the start of another new hockey season. It's always an exciting time. I'm sure our coaches that you'll hear from in a little bit are running around a little hectic as we are in the conference office as well, but we always manage to get to the finish line. And once the first puck drops, then we know that we're ready to roll. So excited for a new year, but also excited for what really is kind of a new era here in Atlantic Hockey America. A year ago, when we had this conversation and had this event, we had a different name and a different league. So many people were aware that we were in transition and looking to merge with the men's league, Atlantic Hockey Association, which our conference office staff was also the same structure. But now we have a new graphic identity. We have a new name. The logo that you can see behind me right now is something that we really did our due diligence and talked to all of our key constituents, our coaches, our student athletes, our administrators, our alums, to understand what was so special about College Hockey America as well as Atlantic Hockey Association. And we worked with a brand firm and Sky Designs out of New Jersey and really took our time in coming up with the logo and the name. And so a couple things I wanted to share with you as we enter into this next era of Atlantic Hockey America is really how we got here. Atlantic, we kept the name Atlantic in our minds, and the consensus of the group was when you think of Atlantic, you often think of Atlantic Ocean, something that's strong and powerful and a force of nature. It can be dynamic and ever changing, but it's also resilient in the sense of thinking about how the tides continuously rise. And it's so far reaching. When we think about America and what was important when taking, namesake on the women's side, we really think of something being united and bringing multiple members together under one entity. Our conference is unique in the sense of our footprint is so large, now spanning from Colorado with Air Force on the men's side, all the way through New England. On the women's side. And so, under that big umbrella, we wanted to make sure that we kept the name America and keep merging a name for both leagues. And I think as you look at the graphic identity that's behind me and that's on our new website, you see that the rising puck. I think that really is emblematic of our resilient spirit and looking to forge ahead in the next chapter. The star we've kept is in that last A there. You can see a little bit, and that really signifies to us sportsmanship, service, that continuous pursuit of excellence. And our color scheme, that was also really important to us. Blue obviously connotates water. We play on frozen water and ice, but also gold to signify excellence. And the color palette that we landed on is something that is not overly visible within the Division I landscape. And so this is where we landed. Pleased with it. I think a lot of people are in support. And so again, new era, next chapter. We're continuing to streamline operations as one league. So when you merge, you never necessarily know what all the things are going to be around corners from a business standpoint and an operation. So we're still working through that. Connor has mentioned, new to our league. We have a few other new colleagues in Cole McKinney and Evan Maldano. And so it's nice to have a new team here as we start this next chapter. You also probably heard over the course of the year when we announced in partnership with the University of Delaware that they're going to be on board and competing starting next year at this time. So we are just about on the clock of counting down the days and when they will drop their first puck and be a part of this league officially. But it's good to have a familiar face in Coach Kumi in their head coach, who's very familiar with our league, be a part of our conversations now leading into next year. I'm also pleased to share that over the course of the summer, we did extend a new 3-year agreement with Flow. So our broadcast streaming partner for our games will once again be on Flow. They are making some enhancements with technology and tracking, and so more to come in what we're doing with them over the next few seasons. And I did want to take the time to congratulate our preseason all AHA members, because those ladies, that was just announced yesterday. So Tessa Janicki from Penn State, Morgan Knightsky from Lindenwood, Elena Giampietro from Robert Morris, Sydney Peterson from Mercyhurst, Lindy Lobdell at Penn State, and Kate Dessa from Penn State as well. And obviously a special congratulations to Tessa at Penn State for being selected that preseason player of the year on the women's side. So we look forward to a year. I'm excited. We wrapped up the season. Penn State secured the title on the last CHA championship. So congratulations to Jeff and that team. And we look forward to what this year brings for us as we continue to elevate our league now as one cohesive unit, continuing to tell our story, as well as continuing to grow our game and what that looks like for our conference, to make sure that we can create a competitive and safe environment for our student athletes, and we can best adapt to serve them in these ever-changing times in the collegiate landscape. Connor? Happy to take questions, or I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, does anybody have any questions for Michelle real quick before we kind of get going here? I'll open it up for a second. Should be all good. Okay, yeah, thank you, Commissioner Morgan, for that recap. Yeah, new chapter for all of us here, and we're excited for the season to come. As we kind of get started here, with our coaches and kind of getting recaps of their off season and what they're looking forward to, we will kind of segue from, you mentioned Penn State having multiple players selected to the preseason All-AHA team. They are the reigning conference champions, and so it makes sense that we start with Penn State and Coach Campersall. Coach Campersall, are you there with us here? I think this is is it a phone here? Let's see.
Yes, hold on.
There we go. Yeah, so Coach Campersall, back for your 8th season here at Penn State. Just kind of take us through, your off season, what you're looking forward to this season, and anything that's kind of stuck out over the past couple months with your program.
Yeah, just I think the players have had a really good off season. Like, we have the benefit at Penn State to have our first years come on campus for summer school. So to have those athletes get acclimated to school and to the strength coach and to get open ice, I think that's important for them. The rest of the players have really good opportunities at home with strength coaches and, whatever towns like they're from. And so trust is a big word in our program. And so we're trusting that they're doing the right thing, getting prepared, taking time off, spending time with family to get going for the grind that's about to start.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of going back to the preseason selections from your squad, can you kind of talk about what makes those players so special, and kind of not necessarily your expectations for this year, but what you look forward to watching them do this season?
Yeah, just for our whole group, we try to focus and focus on like 21 leaders, 21 followers, everyone supporting and celebrating one another. So starting with Tessa, she obviously came in as a freshman and with tremendous drive. She's set pretty much most of all of our records in the weight room. She gets it done on the ice for us, is a caretaker for teammates. Lindy Lobdell was one of the first recruits in our new Penn State era, and someone who's incredibly loyal, someone very enthusiastic, and she came back for her. We're fortunate she came back for her 5th year to do an MBA. And Katie Disa had when her number was called last year, like she stepped up and played brilliantly, played really well in that last game against Mercyhurst, and she was like a difference maker through the second half of the year. So we're hoping to get the same effort from her. She's super athletic, really good person, really hard worker. So I know expectations are high, and hopefully that's a motivating rally for everyone to meet those expectations.
Looking at your schedule for this year, you guys have a tough non-conference slate early on, and then you do have a couple NutraSite games and tournaments that you're playing, at the Icebreaker in Columbus in October, and then in Nashville in November. How did that come about? And is that when you play those games and those tournaments, is there any different approach that you have as a program, or is it just kind of, just another game, for your squad going into the season?
Well, I think as a league we're fighting. I think we have like dynamite programs, awesome head coaches that have been around for a long time with a lot of experience. And like I had talked to Coach Sisti a while ago and Coach Flanagan when he was at Syracuse, and trying to schedule like the challenging non-conference to be ready for the league and to be ready for those like tough games down the stretch in our league. So we for our program in particular, like we've been near the top 10 in the last 2 years, and to try to make it to 10-9 or 9-8, like that increase is probably incremental, but like we need to win non-league games. And so we try to schedule the toughest ones that we can find. We're fortunate in our league that we have the ability to schedule, like have the flexibility to schedule more non-league games than most. And so I think the rest of the teams in the AHA do the same thing. They're trying to schedule the best possible teams. Sometimes it's not always as easy. It's a big puzzle. But we want to make as a league make a collective noise this year, and keep rising in the perception of the people in the hockey world's mind.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking about earlier, just, it's a new era, a lot of change going on, and it's exciting for all of our teams involved. And as a league, we're, looking forward to seeing everybody on the ice this season and how competitive the league is. I know it's still early on here, still a week and a half or 2 weeks away from puck drop for your season, but if you could talk about what's something that you've learned from your team, or something that you saw so far, whether it be in the weight room or on the ice in practice, that maybe you weren't expecting, or something that, kind of caught you off guard and you were impressed by.
I would say, like, just overall, not a particular instance, but just sort of like the comfort level with the players and the coaches. It's taken a long time to get to that point, and going back to having trustworthy individuals in the whole building. It's awesome where as coaches, like, we can guide now. We don't have to worry about extracurricular things, and the players like show up, and they're hockey players. They want to win, they're competitive, they want to do well in school. And so it's kind of fun to sort of just sit back and watch them do their thing.
For sure. And you guys have an outstanding facility there at Penn State. Can you kind of talk about that real quick, and how that helps you guys as a program, and some of the great things that your players have said about it, or how they enjoy going to practice and play games at that great facility there?
Yeah, we're so fortunate to have Terry and Kim Pegula make a donation to, I think definitely the largest donation in Penn State history for Pegula Ice Arena, and for the community, for the varsity programs. And we're super lucky. We try to keep the players grateful and understanding, like, what a dynamic place it is, but keep them, like, grounded. Like, I know, like, people come in and talk about, like, bells and whistles, and, like, we don't want to program. that's bells and whistles. This league is not bells and whistles. We're all sort of like meat and potato, like hardworking teams, and that's what we want. And we're just fortunate enough to play in an awesome rank, which is helpful, attracting student athletes, no question. But we want to be known as grinders first.
Absolutely. Yeah, I just have one more question for you. I know we kind of talked about it earlier with Tessa. Highly decorated player already. You kind of mentioned, her work ethic and, her work in the weight room and kind of her preparation. But you just kind of give some closing thoughts on, what makes her just such a special player that really makes her kind of stand out from the rest.
Yeah, for us in particular, like in the beginning stages of our evolution, like we got pushed around a little bit, and then with the addition of say Lindy Lobdell and Alyssa Machado, we started to get like a little grit, and that took us towards being able to compete physically in our league. And now Tessa's sort of taken it over the top, where players can give her grief, but like she gives it back, like she's not taking anything from anybody. And so we've turned that corner to not be pushed around, to hopefully start pushing around. And she's a big part of that.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, thank you so much, Coach Campersall. We appreciate it. I do want to open up for any questions from anybody else on the call. If they have any questions for Coach, now is the time. All right, looks like we're all good then. Thank you so much, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, let's see here. All right. Yeah, thank you, Coach Campersall, for joining us there. Great recap of the Penn State program. As Michelle mentioned, at the beginning of the call, they were chosen as the preseason winners for the conference on our coaches poll, receiving 5 votes. So that press release was released yesterday. If you need more details on that or want to read further on that process, that is available on our website and social media as well. Next up, let me see here. Is Coach Smith on this call right now? We might have to wait a second before she comes on. All right. I know we have a couple other coaches on the call here. Is there anybody that would like to shuffle up the order? I know Mercy Hurst was scheduled to go after Syracuse. Coach CC, are you there, and would you want to go up next?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate that. I know schedules have been kind of crazy. We've been rearranging stuff, so we appreciate the flexibility with you hopping in here. But yeah, Coach CC, thank you so much for joining us and being flexible there. 27th program or 27th year at Mercyhurst, only coach in the program. A long-standing coach up there. So kind of similar to what we asked Coach Campersall at the beginning. What's kind of your off-season been like, and is there anything that's that you're particularly excited for this season?
Well, as you know, there's not really an off season in college hockey. It was pretty busy. We had a couple nice hirings for our staff. We obviously got Trey Flesh back, doing a great job for us. Fantastic recruiter, great with our players and our goalies. So it's awesome to have him back. We got Scott Spencer, who is new, but also back. He was with us 4 years ago, and he took a spot with Team China's national team for a couple years. And we were able to get him back in the mix, which is awesome. And then it's always great to have alumni in our program. Over the years, I've had a lot of men's and women's alumni coach with us and for our program. and the pride they have in Mercyhurst and coming back to the school is awesome. So we got AJ Weiss joining us, ex-player coming back, and so we're really excited with our staff. Player wise, got some great new additions to our team and our roster, and we really love what the team's been building on and the players we have coming back. So it was a quick summer, but a good summer. Our players are really eager to get going, so it's an exciting time of year.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. And as Michelle kind of mentioned too, Sydney Peterson getting some accolades early on this season. Can you kind of talk about what makes her such a great player to get such honors like that?
Yeah, obviously, she's an awesome competitor, and she's gotten better every year here. Has gained confidence and continues to improve her skill set. So she was having an awesome season last year. As you probably know, the last weekend of the regular season, she got injured, so wasn't able to participate in the playoffs. So, she's been rehabbing all summer and excited to be coming back. But a key part of our program, we're fortunate. We got a lot of prideful, hardworking players that compete well, and she obviously is one of them and had a great season last year and is excited to hopefully build on it this year.
Yeah, and so I kind of mentioned at the top there, I believe I misspoke. This is your 26th season at Mercyhurst, correct?
But yeah, it's actually my 33rd. I was with the men's team for 6 years and then started our program from scratch. So it is the 26th year of our women's program. I think Rick Gotkin and I may be the only Division I men's and women's hockey coaches that are the only coaches to have coached their programs. It's a pretty unique situation. And, obviously I love what I do, and we're very proud of our program and all its successes. So, here we go with year 26, and we're excited to see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can imagine in those, 3 decades worth of work that you've seen just about everything that there is to see in college hockey. What's been like the biggest, change over the years that you've seen, whether it be with recruiting or, the talent and the play that you've seen, just kind of something that sticks out along the way?
Well, I think I only have 10 minutes for my segment. We could probably go 2 hours on all the changes in all those areas. And, the game's changed with just how it's called, and the pace of the game. Obviously, what's awesome for women's hockey, there's more girls and women playing than ever before. And, the women are getting all the deserved accolades for their hard work and dedication. People have changed and how you recruit changed. I have been at it long enough to see the rules change to different rules and then come back years later to the same rules that we had and were changed. So like with the recruiting, it opened up a while where the families were able to see schools on their own. If they wanted to commit at a younger age, they could. And if they wanted to wait, they could. And now we put the date back in of when the calls start, June 15th. And I personally think, good intentions on that rule to relieve stress, but in a lot of ways it creates, in my opinion, a little more stress with people waiting for calls. And some of the better kids are getting calls from 30 plus schools and are trying to juggle all that all at once. So, those things have changed slightly, and, you adapt to the changes. And I think that's been part of our success, being able to do that over the years. If it's the style of the game, type of kids you're recruiting, the recruiting rules, we adapt it well. And, I've been fortunate to have good people working with me here, and, awesome student athletes come into our school and program, and they just love it. And they're a lot of fun to work with every day.
Yeah, great stuff. Thank you, Coach. Are there any questions for Coach Ceci here before we move on? All right. Thank you so much, Coach. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
All right. All right, so I don't see Coach Smith yet on the call. So let's see here. Coach Brown, you were scheduled to go next for RIT. Is that all right if we move you up a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Get the video. There we go. All right. Yeah, thank you so much for being flexible again. I know schedules are crazy, so thank you for being on. Yeah, so Coach Smith, or I'm sorry, Coach Brown here from RIT, 5th season at the program, at the helm of the program there. Again, just kind of give us a general recap of your off season and, expectations or what you're looking forward to most from your players for this season.
Yeah, so similar to both Mike and Jeff, like there is an off season, but it's actually just viewed as an opportunity to get better. And so yeah, we're headed into our 5th season, like our class of 13, so a couple 5th years in there, but mostly have been here for all 4 years with myself. And each and every off season or summer, like not only them, but the whole entire group seems to get a little bit better. And that's constantly a conversation within our program, and been a conversation of like, how brick by brick can we continue to build what we're trying to build here. And they've been unbelievable partners in that. And as we get back to campus and start our preseason, as you can say, which is only an abbreviated amount of time, it's exciting to see their growth, their determination, their excitement around our season that's coming. And when you add in the classes below those 13, they're just as eager. And then you add in some brand new players that get to feel their dream for the first time. It becomes a really exciting space. And we just look forward to a couple of weeks from now being able to drop that puck and rock.
Sure, yeah. With speaking of puck drop there, season's coming up here. You guys, have a great non-conference schedule. How important is scheduling, tough non-conference games for you guys leading up to the conference AHA season?
Yeah, I'm also a believer that we're really fortunate in our league to have the flexibility to go out and schedule anyone that we want to play. And so we get to touch into all the other leagues and get matchups that are valuable in terms of preparing and also representing like our league. Our league is not easy to play, and I think it's our job to prove that. So we here at RIT choose to schedule difficult teams, and we've done that since I've gotten here, and it's on purpose, meaning if you want to be an elite program, you need to play the current elite programs. And so that's exactly what we do. We're set to play 3 non-conference teams that were in the NCAA tournament last year. And it's a fantastic gauge for our program. We play them early on too, where, hey, can we kick the horse going right away? And I think there's no better way to learn than to sort of go in. This year, we're particularly excited for those non-conference matchups because our program has substantially grown in the last seasons. We saw that growth last season, but now we're in a place where the confidence is there, and our players can take over and do what they all expect for themselves to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And just I know it's still early on. I was talking about this with a couple other coaches earlier, but what's something early on that you've seen from your team that maybe surprised you or caught you off guard that you were proud to see moving forward before the season starts?
Yeah, I talked a little bit already about just the excitement and the eagerness. I think I feel really fortunate to have watched the 3 classes that have returned and the new one like just utterly grow. And so if you know anything about our program, or anything about me, like I'm big on like fitness, and with fitness is also like grit And so our players have instantly put that on display for themselves and their teammates. And so that's an exciting piece for me, because then we can just go and have all the fun that we want in terms of getting better every single day. But again, just highlight is just the excitement, the eagerness on the ice, the intensity that we're practicing at. It's at an all-time high.
And then just one final thought here. Can you kind of talk about your staff and kind of how, that nucleus came together and, how they help you out and, what you expect of them this season?
Yeah, I'm extremely fortunate to have partners that are unbelievable at their job. And yeah, technically they're my staff, but really I prefer like my partners, meaning this program would not be the same without them. So starting with Jordan, she's been with me all 4 years, heading into our 5th year, and is extremely player oriented, has the ability to connect, to push, to drive, to suck out greatness from players and help them reach their goals. Secondly, we have Josh Grazer, and extremely fortunate that he's in our program. He's also extremely player centric, and he can suck out greatness. He can talk to players in a unique way. Both of them, partner off of each other too, where, from a recruiting standpoint, we feel really proud of the players that we've brought in and players that we continue to bring in and recruit even this season. And then we've added 2 new additions to our program. So operations in Morgan Bronstein, and has been with USA Hockey consistently and worked in their operations, so worked with the best players in the country. So bringing that perspective in is exciting for us. And then a goaltender coach that can step into a pretty awesome trio of goaltenders and have a lot of fun and just be another sounding board for them. But really, I can't thank them enough for pouring their heart and souls into this program just as much as I do. And they really are the best in the business, in my opinion. And I think our players are beyond lucky to have them in their corner.
Awesome stuff. Yeah. Thank you so much, Coach Brown. We appreciate that. Are there any questions for Coach Brown before we move on? All right, Coach. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right. And so Robert Morris and Coach Biddle, are you available to go next?
Yep, let's do it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. So yeah, again, just kind of leading up to the season, what are your general, thoughts on the offseason, how your team is looking, and what you're looking forward to for this upcoming season?
Yeah, good summer, good off season. I think it's important to balance the hockey side and the athletic side with the family side. And so, our girls did a great job of going home and relaxing and kind of taking that break and spending time with family and loved ones. But then also at the same time, staying up with their fitness and staying up with what they're trying to accomplish on the ice. So a really, really good off season. Getting the girls back on campus here and seeing kind of where they're at just in comparison even to last year. We're light years ahead of where we were. Obviously, we were in a unique situation last year of starting a program with 24 new girls and that had never played together, that had never had any experience together, to bringing back a large core of that group and sprinkling in a lot of freshman talent and new student talent with some very experienced and just experienced players. That combination is very exciting to see where we can kind of take that this year.
For sure, yeah. And so with the program did not have the ice hockey program for 1 year, and then last year was the first year back. So how has, that last offseason preparing to be coming back from not having a season, how has that offseason been different from this offseason now that you have some continuity going?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. Our staff has done a tremendous job of identifying talent, fostering the relationships with that talent, and bringing them in. And last year finishing in third place and taking a great Mercier's team to a third game in the semifinals of the playoffs. If somebody would have said that's where we would have been, 2.5 years ago when they announced we were coming back and bringing the programs back, I think anybody in the right mind would have taken that as a great first step and a great first year starting over. But, again, in our league, it's competitive each and every day. And we have 6 great teams and any given night, anybody can beat anybody. So, our goal is never to finish third. I don't think anybody or any coach that you talk to today will say finishing third is the goal of theirs, but it was a good stepping stone for us last year, and we're looking to hopefully improve on that this year.
I do want to talk about Elena Giampetro earning some preseason honors. Not the first time that her name has appeared and gotten votes. Can you kind of talk about her and what makes her such a great player?
Yeah, I mean, her care level is second to none. She's found a home here at RMU, and she's willing to do whatever she can to leave this place better than she found it, and in the meantime help this program succeed, both on the ice and off the ice. She's a tremendous hockey player. She's a game changer. She can win you games, and she's that type of talent. But I think more importantly, she's a fantastic human being, a great teammate, and a great ambassador for our program.
And then can you just kind of talk about your staff for a little bit? I know you did a little bit early on, but just kind of talk about how they help you out and what makes them such a great group to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very fortunate to have the staff that we do have. Again, I think you're only as good as the people that you have surrounding you. And that goes from our players to our staff. Liam Kavanaugh returns back for his second year as an assistant coach with us, but he was with us for 4 years prior to that in the director of hockey operations role. And Jordan Lipson came to us from Lindenwood, and she's in her second season as well. And like I mentioned, they are fantastic for our student athletes. They work with them on the daily. They are able to converse and kind of express what we're trying to accomplish as a team in a great way that allows our student athletes to be successful and foster that relationship of care. And so I'm very, very honored and humbled to have them alongside of me through this process. And Pat Berry, our director of hockey operations, is going into his second year as well. And he does a fantastic job. He's what makes everybody tick, right? He's the man behind the scenes that, I probably doesn't get enough praise, but is doing a fantastic job, making sure that everything's set for us and our girls, and nothing misses a beat there. And we're fortunate to add a goaltender coach this year and Emma Gorski returning to us from playing for us last year. She brings a great perspective, having been on the team last year, but also, having a great knowledge for goaltending and being able to help our goalies out there. So, again, very, very fortunate for the staff that we have. Their passion for Robert Morris is unmatched. And, I think if you don't have that passion for the school you're at, what's the point, right? So it's great to have people that are on board, that care, that push the envelope and want to make sure that everybody on our program has the best experience possible.
And then one kind of closing final thought here. Again, kind of talked about this with other coaches, but early on, what's something that you've seen from your group that surprised you or that you weren't expecting to see that you got you kind of fired up to get going with them?
I don't know if it's a surprise necessarily, but I think, like I mentioned before, we are just light years ahead of where we were last year. And that comes with experience, and that comes with, having a core group returning that's gone through the rigors of a season together. So, not having to have everything be our first time on the ice together. With all of that, it comes learning. And, we don't have to experience that this year. Obviously you have a great influx of new players, and whether they be first years or transfers, and they bring their own, dynamic and juice to what we're doing. But I think the biggest thing is, we have that foundation and that culture started already. Last year, a year ago, this time we were starting to build that. Now that foundation is set, now we have to gather up all the pieces and start building that house, right? So we've done a really nice job here. The girls have done a nice job coming in ready to go, and can't wait to hit the ice in a couple weeks.
Absolutely, yeah, Coach Biddle, thank you so much. Second season at RMU. You mentioned wanting to improve on your third place finish last year. Looking forward to a great season. Thank you for your time. And are there any questions before we move on here? All right, should be all good. Thank you so much, Coach Biddle. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, let's see here. Sorry, I got to edit something here real quick. Coach Smith, are you on the call here?
I am, yeah. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yep, we got you. Thank you so much.
No problem.
So yeah, just kind of getting started here. Coach Smith, third season at the helm at Syracuse. So kind of what we've been doing with these coaches early on here is kind of going over, if you can give us your thoughts on the offseason and what you're kind of looking forward to going into this season.
Yeah, some big changes in terms of, roster this year. We have 13 people coming into our program that we're really excited about. But with that being said, we have 11 returners that, are really going to be asked to step into some pretty major leadership roles. And they're people that we feel are flying on all cylinders in terms of like what we're looking for with our culture and what our program needs to do to take that next step. So really excited to have some new faces coming into the program, but also to know that they have great leadership and role models to kind of come in and watch how they're going to do things and the way that we kind of handle our program.
And then so early on, obviously off-season work, weight training, practice starting up here, games starting up here in a week and a half, 2 weeks. Early on, what's something from your group that you've seen that's surprised you and, kind of impressed you and gotten you ready to, get going with them for the season?
Really excited so far about our compete level. Obviously in the preseason, limited hours with players. So it's what you can do with those hours, and excited with our compete and our intentionality with everything. Again, with our new group coming in, it's a lot about getting them up to speed and seeing how quickly we can become a team. And it's exciting to see how close this group's become in such a short period of time. And obviously once games hit and things like that, the season gets underway and those relationships, I feel like we've done a good job putting that at the forefront in the early phases of our preseason here, so we can hit the ground running once the games get underway.
Yeah, you're talking about group cohesiveness and having your younger players kind of gel with the older players. Is that something obviously that you would prioritize, or is that something that just kind of naturally happens in your group?
A little bit of both. It's something that we definitely find important within our program, having those relationships within your teammates, but also relationships with your coaching staff and being a tight-knit team as quickly as possible. But we're really lucky to have leaders on this team that have taken ownership throughout the summer and have found times to, bring the team together in different ways, obviously virtually for the majority of it. But we have some people who have stepped up into those types of roles and have really found themselves in a position where they can drive that part of our culture and our program. So we're lucky to have the support of our athletes in that, but it is definitely a priority of the coaching staff, the entire program.
Absolutely, yeah. I know you're pressed for time. We appreciate you hopping off the ice to hop on the call here. But one more just quick question. Can you kind of talk about your staff and, your group that you've got together there and, how they kind of help you as a head coach?
Really excited about our consistency this year. As much as we talk about our 13 new players and feeling like we have a lot of turnover in that sense, our staff is completely consistent. So we have Megan returning for her third season, Heather as well for her third season, and then Nick Harper, our goalie coach, for his second. So really excited to kind of know our routine and our roles, and obviously always looking to build and grow on those, but finding like we're kind of getting in the groove as a coaching staff, which not only is beneficial for us, but also for the players and them seeing the consistency. So we're really excited about the staff we have. We're really excited about the players we have. And, last season for us was something that at the end of the season, we knew we wanted more this coming year, and that's something that's kind of been a driving factor in a lot of what we've been doing over the off season and coming into the new year. And that doesn't end with our players. That's definitely with the staff as well. So excited to see the work we've done, and it'll come together in a couple of weeks once we start to get into some games.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're excited for the season, excited to get going. Again, thank you so much for hopping on here. We appreciate it. Do we have any questions for Brittany before we move on here? All right, Coach. Thank you so much. We appreciate the time.
Perfect. Thanks.
Yep. All right. And now, Coach Walczyk, are you on the call here?
Yep. Hi, Connor.
Awesome. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Thank you so much for kind of addressing the time here. We appreciate the flexibility. But yeah, so just second season going into Lindenwood here as a head coach. What's kind of been the offseason like? What are you looking forward to for this season?
Yeah, we're super excited. We've been on the ice about 2 weeks now with school starting at the end of August. Similar to some other programs, we've got a ton of new players this year. We've got 12 new players, 14 returners. So the biggest thing for us is kind of giving them time to come together as a group. We gave them a lot more captain skates than last year. Just, new leadership, let the captains get out there, have a voice, establish themselves, but also we're about 50% new players, just under that. So we thought it was pretty important to give our kids time on the ice together, time to kind of come together as a group before the coaches get out there and start running everything. So we've been on the ice a couple times now as a group with all the coaches, all the players. We had a few kids that got to campus late. They were at international tournaments and whatnot, but we've had like 3-4 good skates as a team now. So just trying to build up. We start next weekend, which seems a little bit crazy to say, but just trying to build up, get everybody on the same page as quickly as possible so that we're ready to go next Saturday.
It was announced yesterday, the AHA preseason all-conference team, and, Morgan Nietzsche was on that list. And again, not the first time her name has popped up on lists like that. Yeah. So can you kind of talk about her and what makes her such a great player?
Yeah, no, Morgan's, she's got a level that not many kids have. It's crazy to see. I think every day in practice, we find ourselves sitting there and being like, wow, there she goes. She had a great year last year, 46 points, I believe she ended the year with, which was a career year for her. She broke just about every offensive record in the Lindenwood books, which is pretty cool. In August, she got to go to USA camp. She was one of 2 current AHA, players there at August camp. It's really pushed her. It's really stepped up her game. It's kind of exposed some areas she needs to get better at, both on and off the puck. So she's come into this season as a leader, which is awesome. She's got an A this year, which we're excited to see. And then, just completely focused, completely ready to go to be better individually and better as a team. She's kind of putting every foot forward right now, which is awesome to see.
You mentioned earlier, the turnover that your roster has seen this year with 12 newcomers, 14 returners. What's something early on here that you've seen from the group as they gel that's kind of, opened your eyes or impressed you as you get ready for the season here?
Yeah, I think we've got a new player on every single line, which is nice. So it's not like all the freshmen are bunched up on one line and all the returners are bunched up on a different line. I think we're seeing the communication that maybe we weren't worried about, but we knew to keep an eye on it. Just make sure inside the rink, outside the rink, things like that, all of the kids are hanging out regardless of if they're new, if they're returners. I think a couple sophomores for us have stepped up, and I see them grabbing the new players and talking to them and telling them new job the first few days when they're super nervous. So we've been super happy with it all around. Our captains are doing a great job. The new players are listening, focused, understand that they're new and they do have things to learn, but also super excited to get going and be a part of the bigger group, it's been great to see for us coaches.
And then can you just kind of talk about your staff real quick and the group that you've kind of assembled there, and how you guys work together and how they help you out as a head coach?
Yeah, 100%. We're the same staff as last year. So me, Ariel, Desma, and Ria Code. We kind of do everything together. We sit down every day. We do practice playing together on the bench. I'm in the middle. Ariel is at the forward end, Ria's at the D end, but we're all going back and forth. That's kind of something we're big on is, the D don't just get coached by the D coach, and the forwards don't just get coached by the forward coaches. Something we've put a huge emphasis on is just making sure all 3 coaches are coaching all 26 players at all times. So I don't stray too close to the goalies. I get a little lost in that area, but that's more Ariel's specialty. But you know, it's really good. We're a cohesive group. We work pretty well together, even if we don't agree on, you know, what we should be doing today or tomorrow. It goes along really nicely. So we love our group here. We have a lot of fun, of course, but you know, we work really well together on the bench, on the ice, in the office, things like that.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, Coach. We appreciate your time. Are there any questions for Coach here before we finish this up? Should
Thanks,
be all
Connor.
good. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. All right. Here. Whoops. All right. So that will wrap up our media day here for Atlantic Hockey America ahead of the 2024-25 season. Again, new era in Atlantic Hockey. Very excited for both our 6 women's teams here. It's going to be a great season. We're looking forward to the competitiveness, both in the non-conference and obviously our conference play. So thank you so much, coaches, for your time. We really appreciate it. And thanks for your flexibility. Everybody have a great day.